Well, let's try that again.
I can't hear you through my thing.
You can't?
No.
Why not?
I don't know.
I can hear you.
Well, I suppose that's all that matters, but I can't hear you. Anybody else want to talk? See if I hear them?
No.
I heard I heard somebody.
You heard Sam.
I heard Sam. Okay. Hi, Sam.
Hello.
All right, let's try something here, and you can.
I
tell
mean,
me if it works.
don't worry. If you can hear me, that's fine. I mean, I can hear you. You're like right across the table from me, so that's fine. If I don't hear you through my headphones, that's okay.
Are you Pat's wife?
Yes, I'm Pat's wife.
Okay. I just didn't know who you were for a minute.
Huh?
I just didn't know who you were for a minute.
Yeah. I'm Flora, Pat's wife. And let's see, your mom's out there somewhere too, Gina?
Yes, don't worry.
Huh?
Yep.
Yes,
Yeah.
we're here.
Oh, okay.
I'm Gina.
All right. Hi, Gina. Hi, Sam. Nice to have you guys here.
Thank you
Sounds
very
like
much for having me.
we're gonna have some fun times around here.
You are? Oh boy.
Yeah, just you wait. As soon as I figure out how my cam software works, we'll be all right. Good evening, everybody. This is Radioactive. We got quite a show lined up for you tonight, as you've probably already heard. Good evening, Dale. Say hello to you. Want to go around the horn here while everybody's in here. Or with everybody that's in here, we've got Mr. Dale Miracle, who just said hello. We've got a couple of guests this evening. We've got we're going to have a new podcast appearing on on Radioactive. Yeah, that's going to be on there too.
They're premiering here too, I guess.
They're going to premiere the next Sunday at 6 p.m. on the Crooked River Radio Network. We have Sam and his mother, Gina, I think. Am I right with that? And Sam does a podcast called the Autism Rocks and Rolls. Listen to the podcast, and I'm going to tell you the truth. I was very impressed with it. He actually did the one that I listened to was an interview with Simon from the Iron Chefs, and Sam did a wonderful interview with the guy. It kept my ear on it, and it was memorable enough. A lot of times when I listen to podcasts, I'll listen to about halfway through and think, well, I got to go do this, or I got to go to work with something, and I won't come back to it. Well, with this one with the Iron Chef and Sam, I actually came back to it to listen to it. So you got something going for you. I'm telling you that.
Thank you.
But, so why don't you, Sam? Why don't you tell us about your podcast?
Yes, sir. So my podcast is called Autism Rocks and Rolls. Autism Rocks and Rolls. And we talk about how we take the stigma off autism and how we cope with different daily struggles. And there's so many different struggles that you guys, I don't think, quite understand that I have to put up with. And I hope I can talk to you all about that and tell you more about that in the future.
Cool.
When did you start podcasting?
I started podcasting a little over a year ago.
And you have what? I thought I saw like 117, something like that, podcast.
Well, he has over, I think it's almost 2,200 downloads.
Wow, that's pretty good.
And then he's got several followers. But yeah, I think the last time we looked was 2,000-ish, 200 downloads.
Well, I'm glad you decided to join us this evening, and welcome to our little space on the internet. We're here pretty much every Sunday night from 7 o'clock till about 9, depending on how things go. The nice thing about podcasting and stuff like that is if your flow gets going, you don't have to quit. You can actually just sit there and talk to your guests or whatever, or if somebody else. We had this happen the last couple of weeks. We had some phone calls right at the end of the show, and when they called, you just can't. I'm trying to make myself look a little brighter here. Of course, that's a little tough for me to do.
Could you turn me up just a little bit? A little bit.
Out there, out there.
All
Out
right.
there.
Well, nobody's saying nothing right now, so I don't know.
Okay, how about there?
There, I hear you now.
Wow, how about that,
Wow.
Flora?
All right. Now everybody else will probably be screaming to me, but
Oh, folks.
because I could hardly hear Gina, so that's why I thought, well, maybe I needed to, and then I couldn't hear you at all. So now I hear you, so I'm sure I can hear her too.
It goes to 11.
What? What did you say? Now I kind of heard
Yes.
you, but I didn't.
No, Spinal
I'm
Tap,
guessing
know.
you were being a smart aleck.
I'm always a smart ass. But yeah, it's a Spinal Tap reference,
Oh.
Remember when they were in the music store, and Nigel was looking at the amplifier, or the speaker, and it's like, what makes this one better than this one? This one goes to 11.
Yeah, that's right. So there's more power. Yeah, that's right.
And this would be my redheaded stepchild. I'm just kidding. Dale Miracle.
As you can tell, Gina and Sam, we're pretty laid back here as far as podcasting goes. We have a lot of fun.
And believe me, I will stay sober and awake this evening since there's a young gentleman on the show.
Hey, I'm almost an adult.
Because I do know I fell asleep last week, and I will not do that.
Yeah, somebody told me it was kind of funny watching your wife sleep for 35 minutes on camera.
You let me. Oh my God. All right. Well, tonight's been one glass of wine and one only. So.
I haven't had any.
Huh?
I haven't
and
had any.
And you haven't had any tonight. I know.
That's right. I'm good.
I'm
boy.
Yeah,
a bit-
Flora doesn't like to share.
Yeah. There you go. You got it, Dale. That's it. That's all my wine.
Anyway, getting back to our the other discussion there. So what got you? What made you decide to get into podcasting, Sam?
Well, I have a media club at my school, and I did the podcasting through there. We have our school called Thundercast, and I thought to myself, I wonder if I could do it at home, like make my own self-home reservated podcast. And sure enough, I did, and that's what got me into it. So you can thank my school for it.
And do you want to give your school credit? What school do you go to? Or
No, I think he'll keep that private.
okay,
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
just asking.
Appreciate it.
Gina, what do you do for a living? Can I ask?
Sure, I'm a teacher.
You're a teacher of what grades?
I teach 8th grade English. So I teach a middle school, and I've taught it for about 15 years. So,
Yeah, and you're getting older each year, aren't you?
yep.
Huh?
I just told my wife that a little bit ago.
What did you? What now?
She gets older every year.
Oh. Well, Gina, I wish you lived closer because I got an 8th grader upstairs that needs some serious help.
Well, I can.
She'll scare some crap into him.
Huh?
She'll put some sense into him.
Well, it's a female, and she.
She'll pour some sense into her then.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I've teached for about 15 years. I'm going into my 15th year. So, I've had all types of students, just from all walks of life.
Okay, from that aspect, let me ask you a question. As far as what's going on in the world today around you, how are you coming up with different ways of getting through to the kids as far as the teaching goes? I know there's a curriculum and all that kind of stuff with schools. How are you trying to come up with innovative ways to do this? And if so, what are they?
Well, in March, of course, with everything that's going on, we had to go to e-learning.
Mm-hmm.
my school district had never done it before.
Right.
We had never done it, so we knew we were going to have to, and it took. I read an article not too long ago about teachers. You give a teacher a project, and we'll usually figure it out. But it said, like the article said something like they had to figure out how to do e-learning, and it took us about 48 hours to do it. We figured it out. But yeah, you have to. We actually, when I was teaching, we used Zoom, so we used this.
Oh, okay.
And that was a whole new ball game for students and teachers. We feel like we have it figured out now. As far as I know, our school district, because we live in kind of middle southern Indiana.
It's Midwestern. It's not mid-southern.
Mine. So we are doing that, but as far as I know, we're starting normally with
in the
whatever
fall.
in place. Yeah. So
that was the thing in March around here, that they, of course, everything went to the e-learning, and the then 7th grader was struggling as it was. And when because my granddaughters live with, and their mother lived with us, and the 7th grader was struggling as it was, and when it went to the e-learning, she pretty much shut down. I don't think she was on there maybe twice for schoolwork. How she passed, I have no idea.
I think that the way that we were kind of told is, you have to be patient with the kids. I mean, with me, I was thinking, okay, like we're going to do this, and you need to be online at this time. But it's not that simple.
Yeah.
We come from an area where the socioeconomic is pretty low.
Well, yeah.
And most of our students have at least one device in the home. Like, we surveyed it, we figured it out. It's like 95 to almost 100% of the kids have something.
Yeah.
But some families have 4 kids and one device.
Right.
In different grades. And so we had to figure out that aspect as well. But it's taken a lot of, I'm kind of an out-of-the-box thinker teacher anyway. I kind of look at things differently. So
yeah, you are.
It took a while to figure it out. But
you certainly sound like you'd be because unfortunately the quote English teacher, I believe it was for my granddaughter, was someone that she swore was ready to retire, her and her mother both. And so she was, I'm sure, that was the thing I think about, and I feel so badly for the teachers anywhere, and grateful that they did do what they had to do. They stepped up. They, the youngest one was in kindergarten, and her teacher touched base with her just a couple times, but thank God she, the first time she touched base with her about reading a story, she clammed up. It was like, nope, that ain't not happening tonight. And
I gave, and I don't typically do this because it's, in my opinion, it's not very smart to do, but I ended up giving lots of the kids, my cell phone number.
Oh,
I put it on Facebook. We talked just so that, I'm the type of teacher that I care about.
Yeah,
most
yeah.
do.
Well, and see, that was the thing the kindergarten teacher definitely did. And we know all the teachers did around here.
Right.
The grade school teachers actually came through, drove by the house one day and, beeping and honking their horns and whatever. Well, Ella got scared, she got scared by the noise and ran back inside.
No, I was calling them. Because I was worried, because I knew a lot of them, depended on school to eat. They depended on school for their kind of safe zone, and they didn't have that anymore. So Sam and I actually, I was made in the classroom. I always made a big deal out of birthdays, and kind of.
I wish you did that to my year.
I think it kind of drove the kids crazy, but I loved their birthday. So one of the kids, about a couple weeks ago, he left me a message, and he said, "Mrs. Mitchell," he said, today's my birthday, because we had a birthday chair. And they would all sit in the chair and we would sing to him. And so I realized, like, he's telling me that it's his birthday, like, for a reason. So Sam and I called him on Facebook Messenger so we could see him. And he, like, sat in the birthday chair and we sang to him.
Aww.
Like,
See, you're exceptional. God bless you.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, Patrick. I'm sure I've taken you down roads you didn't want to go with her, but
Let's talk about Sam.
I'm sorry, Sam.
It's okay.
He's used to it.
Well, that's the thing about doing a podcast like this. I've had several of our syndicated podcasts people actually call in. We've got this guy from New Jersey that's called in here 2 or 3 times. We run him on Monday nights at 7 o'clock. It's Dave Canyon's Dumbing It Down with Dave. Guy's a hell of a guy. He's got a sense of humor like nobody I've ever met before, and he's a truck driver. And not that makes a whole heck of a lot of difference with his personality. I mean, look at Dale.
Dale's a truck driver, yes.
But I like the podcasting like this. You actually get to know people when they call in and talk to them, and that's what I was hoping we could do with you guys, and that'll hopefully get us some more listeners on your podcast. The nice part about it is I'm thinking maybe we're gonna help it out because of the fact that we air at 7. You'll be on at 6. You'll be kind of a lead-in. I think we're pretty much going to help each other out with that.
I think so too.
Awesome.
But, so what are some of Sam? What are some of the subjects that you've covered in the past ones? I know you talked to the Iron Chef.
I've covered interviews. I've covered being blunt and being honest. I've covered relationships. I've covered daily changes. I've covered meltdowns. I've covered anxiety. And I've covered anticipation. And I think that's it. And conversations.
I think I'm going to have to go find go back in your archive there and find a couple of them that you've talked about as far as the breakdowns and stuff like that. That kind of stuff always has kind of interested me. As you know, we have Eric Nanneroni, who has to work tonight.
Well,
So
we miss Eric.
he doesn't get off for another hour, and he didn't think he was going to be able to make it in.
Yeah.
But
Eric.
He's a nice
he's
kid.
another one that has my complete and total respect. The guy is just doing nothing but trying to get himself ahead. And, young guys like you that are going to make this world eventually. And when you do, hopefully it's going to be a better place. And you'll be replacing people like Dale and I and Flora. And
Dale's not that old.
I'm just
You
trying
can
to.
tell-
I'm
you
trying to get a reaction out of him. So I'm sitting here watching him on Zoom.
I was gonna say he's been messing with me for 2 days about how old I am.
What's that middle finger you're holding up there?
Yeah.
It's like the yoga. Was it Yoda? And it's like when 900 years you reach, looking good, you will not. Well, I could say at 46, I think I look better than what you did at 46.
Oh, you think so, huh? Well, I was married. That's why I look so bad.
Listen to you. Goodness gracious.
I wasn't married to you. That was
Yeah, well,
46. I mean, that was
Yeah, so now you look like
about 20 years
you're
into the
60
last one.
I was gonna say you're 65 and you look like you're 70. No,
Oh, thanks.
no, I meant because you're married to me. I was taking responsibility
Oh, that's
for that one,
That's
okay?
what they call that. Uh-huh.
Yeah. Maybe I should have another glass of wine, and then I won't say things like that.
What's wrong with beer?
Huh?
What's that?
What's wrong with beer?
What's wrong with what?
Beer.
Oh, beer. I just don't like beer. I'm not a beer drinker. My dad was a beer drinker, too much of a beer drinker. And all joking aside on that. And that's why whenever my mother would know I had been drinking, she'd like, "You're going to turn out like your father." I'm like, oh, she'd like kind of stick that in my knife like a back there, or, in my back like a knife. But anyways, so I watch what I do terribly try to. Maybe last Sunday I didn't too well, but apparently. But
I think you need
do.
vodka.
No, oh God, not vodka.
Okay, getting
getting back.
Let's double back to the subject at hand here. What the?
You can blame Sam. He's the one that asked about what was wrong with beer, and I was trying to
asked,
tell
I
him.
mean, you blame me and said, I'm like, she's talking about wine. Why can't I bring up beer?
Because you're not 18 even.
But she's drinking wine. She's talking about drinking wine over here. Come on, man. Get your head in the game.
All right, let me ask another pretty good question, I think. This is actually to both of you. Since you started podcasting and since you started helping in podcast, what's probably the biggest thing that you've learned?
I've learned self-confidence. I've learned that I can talk to people a lot better than once upon a time. I've learned many things. I've learned that I could use this advice, but I like to use my own advice sometimes. I guess learn to get to help others, so that's always nice. Mom, what about you?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, was I've seen a huge jump in his self-confidence. So Sam was diagnosed with autism when he was 4. We knew like something was up. Me being a teacher, I had a couple of kids in my class, because I was a new teacher, that had autism. So, I wasn't an expert, and I'm still not an expert by any means, but I kind of like knew what to look for. And so he was diagnosed, and just as the years have went on, Sam does have struggles, and a lot of those struggles are social. And it's been heartbreaking at times because he's such a genuine
person,
good person, but a lot of times him being on the spectrum, people wouldn't give him, especially kids his age wouldn't really give him the time of day to get to know him. And so with Sam doing this podcast, when he started it, I said, because he asked me if he could do something like this at home when he started in his media club. And I was skeptical at first, but then he wanted to try it. And I said, you need to choose something that
the English teacher came out of you.
Well, it did. I was like, you need to choose something you're compassionate about and, that you can really talk about. And autism was just kind of the natural thing because he, we all live it every day, and it just kind of took off from there. But I think that really helped him. And like I don't know. I asked him, what's your purpose? Like, what do you want? Are you trying to entertain people? Are you trying to persuade somebody to do something? Are you?
And the answer to that is to educate and enlighten people with autism, but slide in humor.
Yeah, that's what he has said the whole time, is to
have fun.
To kind of take away the stigma of autism. Because I really do believe in our society there is a stigma on different abilities and disabilities in general. Because, autism fits into the category of a disorder and a disability. And I don't see him having a disability. I see him needing help sometimes and needing resources, but we all do. Mm-hmm. And I don't think that that's any different than the resources I use, being
a teacher,
being non-autistic or typical, or what even, that's what we've said before, is what does even typical mean? What does even normal mean? I mean, who gets to decide that?
No one answer.
So we've just, I don't know, I feel like he's on a mission, and the people that he has made friends with that are on similar missions, he did an interview on his, one of his episodes was an interview with Armani Williams. He's the first NASCAR driver.
I wanted to double back and watch that, and I never got a chance to. That'll be the next one.
It is an incredible interview. And when I was listening to these guys talk, I just realized they're on the same mission. Mm-hmm. Armani doesn't want people to look at him and think, oh, he's autistic. No, he's a NASCAR driver. I mean, he's really, really good at it. And Sam is a podcaster and has a way of, getting across his emotions and what he deals with on a daily basis. And in turn, he's helping people. And so it's just really been bless you.
Goodness bless you.
It's just been
What?
an awesome thing.
That's awesome. Thinking back of to the ones that we've done, I think a couple of weeks ago we did one with Eric that we talked about. Somehow or other we got on the subject of dating and that, and he got talking about some of the hardships of that, and it amazes me that some people just can't get over you got to understand. I've had to date twice at two different periods in my life, and I know what it was like back then. I know what it was like to be a young man and out there in the field, but I also know what it was like to be 52 years old and happen to do the same thing. And the aspects of it are a whole lot different from time to time. I could imagine what it would. I could not imagine what it would be like if I had some of the obstacles in my way some of these guys do. And I want to say I feel bad, but I don't want to come across like that. I understand where they're coming from. I really do. I understand this world is not a perfect place for anybody. We are, by all shapes and sizes, we are all animals.
Yeah.
We're not the only animals on this planet. We may be some of the smartest, but that and a dollar will get you a cup of coffee at Dunkin' Donuts. I find guys like Sam here that have just went out of their way to try to make something for this. That is so encouraging to me. You are very encouraging to me, young man.
Thank you.
I've got to say that. And Gina, as far as I love the way you're kind of sitting in the background, but you've got a control of the situation. I can tell that from here, and you're doing a great job.
Thank you.
You both are doing a great job.
I appreciate that. My husband and I, there are hard days, and there are hard days for Sam, and there's hard days for us. But I think back, like when we found out he had autism, it was almost like a mourning process, almost like, excuse me, like he has autism, like I don't really know how to handle that. And so we adapted pretty quickly, but we've never really let him
use that as an excuse. I got my butt kicked for that once upon a time.
Yeah, he tried kind of a couple times when he was growing up to, I wanted him to do something and I knew he was capable, but he was like, oh, remember I have Asperger's. Well, I'm sorry, but you still need to do that. And so
I got my butt whooped for it.
We've tried to make him understand that he's going to go out in the world, and because we really, think that he can with assistance and with help, but he's going to have employers that are going to be like, oh, okay, well, we'll just find someone that can do it. I mean, we have to be realistic with him because he is very high functioning, but has struggles. So he just needs to use his resources to be successful, like we all do. We've always talked to him that you're really not, it's all brain wiring. I mean, it really is. Autism is just brain wiring. When he was in the womb, his brain wired a particular way. And it just so happens that it fits the definition and the spectrum of autism. But that doesn't mean that he's, like we always say, he's not broken. He doesn't need to be fixed. Nothing about Sam needs to be fixed. We've often said that, like when Sam was growing up, my husband and I and like we're really close to my parents, we would say, oh, I just wish Sam could like see it this way. I just wish Sam could see it like our world. But then I started to realize
That's not going to happen.
that can't happen all the time or ever. So I need to see Sam's world. How does Sam see the world? And I need to adapt to that, and not like baby him or walk on eggshells around him, but just what does he need instead of making him adapt to our world. That's not fair.
Yeah, it ain't going to happen all the way.
No, like it just, some things he has to, like if it's a norm or if it's inappropriate or something like that, but it's at the same time, I also have to look at the world through his eyes too, out of fairness.
I can see where you're coming from there. There's that old adage, you never know what it's like until you've walked a mile in someone's moccasins.
Mm-hmm.
And that to me is, that's probably some of the hardest things I ever try to do, is imagine what it's like. I'm like you, Gina. I've always been kind of an out of the box thinker. I look at things. I sit in the box and look out for a couple of seconds, and then I take and jump to the left side. Then I jump up on top of it, and I look underneath of it. I'm always trying to find an angle, and it's.
Yeah, I'm the same way, and I think Sam isn't. I mean, he is an out of the box thinker in the sense of being autistic, but Sam is very black and white. He doesn't like middle ground.
I don't bend really well unless it's necessary.
Yeah, and I'm fine with middle ground. I can like deal with about anything, but he is not like
the
that.
highway, buddy.
So so that's one of his episodes. Is it's my way or the highway, and that sounds like Sam is kind of being a brat because.
Well, I am kind of. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
You are kind of a brat, but it's like my way or the highway. But at the same time, that is really like when he has to do something, or if something like isn't working out in his brain, he thinks, I can't. Like, I'm not doing it that way. It's my way or the highway, Mom. I'm sorry. And a lot of times the response will be, there's no highway. Like, you're doing it because I'm your mom and, you have to. So.
Not all the time, though.
But he has a hard time with that.
But yeah, but that's sometimes. It's not all the time,
though. No, not all the time. It's just those moments where he thinks, I can't do that. I can't do that. And I'm like, but you are, because you have to. So there's just, it's throughout his life, we've just had to find a balance.
I'll tell you what, I've raised 3 children. One of them is in the Zoom chat right now. Say hello, Melanie.
Oh, that's his daughter.
That's my daughter, Melanie, there.
Okay.
Hello.
Hi,
Hello, Melanie. How are you?
Good. Eating dinner.
And
What's for dinner tonight?
BLTs.
Ew.
oh yeah.
You can keep that tomato part.
I have an egg on it too.
And then Vincent below her is, I think he's below her. Vincent is my grandson. You there, Vincent?
Not in the room right now. He's going back to his room right now.
Okay.
He was in the kitchen.
But they usually either tune into the show or they come in and talk every once in a while here. Like I said, we're really laid back as far as the podcast goes, and we just like to have a good time. The principle that we started with was myself, my wife, my other daughter, her sister, and my deceased wife. We're all hams,
And
we are all hams.
And Melissa.
And my stepdaughter Melissa is too. We're all amateur radio operators. That was the whole premise of the show, is to get a bunch of amateur. And in fact, Dale is too.
And John, that may
our
not
truck
be on.
driver friend here. But we all started. We're all amateur radio operators, and the whole premise of the show was to just show people that we're normal. We talk about all kinds of stuff in this podcast. We We've talked politics till we're blue in the face sometimes.
Except we don't like to talk politics. At
We've
least some
talked
of
about
us.
we've talked about things that tick us off. In fact, I started a segment 2 weeks ago on that.
Yeah, I mean that shows me you just talked about beer a while back ago. So
But we of course then again the last hour of the show we kind of point more towards the actual subject of amateur radio. Flora has her own little section she does called Flora's Corners, where she'll ask us all kinds of personal little questions. Do you have any of those, dear?
I have a few this evening.
Why don't you lay one on us? We call this section Flora's Corners, just because she can she comes up with some of the most
Oh, good.
the coolest questions you ever want to be asked.
I did amateur radio related research tonight, so I'm going to have to use some old questions maybe. Interesting.
Where's my sound effects?
Oh, stop it. Melanie, tell your father to quit picking on me.
quit picking on her.
That sounded like Melanie. Oh, Patrick, bite me. All right, gosh, dang it. How about if I'm going to use one that I'm not sure you guys all answered last week. Because the other one,
boy.
What actually was a slip?
What?
That oh boy was a slip.
Uh-huh. Sure. God.
I didn't mean to put you on the spot,
Well,
dear.
thanks, dear. Because I'm...
Is that okay?
All right, I'm going to go with this one. Oh, God. If aliens... See, I know I asked this one last week. If aliens landed on Earth tomorrow and offered to take you home with them, would you go?
Yes.
Huh? Sam would go?
Sam would go,
Sam
yes.
would go.
I'll ask the guy. That's the only
I
thing.
would not go.
Who would not go?
Vincent.
Oh, Vincent would not go. Melanie,
Yeah,
would,
because
see,
I'm in
because
the
I'm
corner.
pretty sure I asked these before those guys, and we need Gina and
Your turn to answer.
huh?
I said Mom's turn to answer.
Mom?
Well, I still am kind of shocked at how quickly Sam answered yes.
You probably want to go because you're scared of everything. I mean, you're scared of snakes, spiders, chickens.
It's okay to be afraid of chickens. It's
If
okay.
aliens existed, I would be really scared of them, so I wouldn't.
You would probably not go.
Yeah, I'm scared of chickens, so what else are you scared of?
I'm scared of everything. I don't like anything except for people and dogs.
My answer was, I remember what it was last week. It would depend on if they were like the movies, did you ever see any of the old Amazon women movies?
Oh, that's
If it
right.
was an Amazon
You
woman,
and
I
Dale,
might think about
you
it.
and Dale both. That's why I didn't write your answers down. You and Dale both. I remember now.
Amazon Women in the Moon.
Beth said no, and Eric said yes.
I would just get away from her. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I love you.
You notice how I'm not saying anything.
Yeah. That's because
Oh.
Pat had your number already.
Well, I'll tell you what, we're gonna have to jump off here. Sam hasn't
Oh.
had dinner,
And I need to eat. I'm hungry.
Just
Aw, all right. Well,
Okay, guys, thanks for joining us.
Yeah,
This was
really.
a
Thanks
blast.
for having
Thank
us.
you.
You're always welcome here. You are always welcome to the show. If you have anything you want to put on, and even if you want to just drop in and say hi, you're always welcome.
Every Sunday at 7.
mhm.
Every Sunday, yeah.
7 to 9.
And then Pat, you're gonna play Sam's podcast starting next Sunday. Is that
Next
what-
Sunday at 6.
Okay, sounds great. We really appreciate it. It was really nice to meet all of you.
It's nice
Nice to
meeting
meet you
Nice to
too.
meet all of you. Bye-bye.
Take care.
Have a good
You
evening.
too. All right.
You too.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Nice. Those were nice people.
Yes, they were. Very nice. Melanie, so would you go with the aliens or no? Melanie? You there?
She's eating.
Full food.
Oh,
eating.
oh, sorry.
I need to put a monitor over there so you can see what's going on.
Yes, I need a monitor or a laptop or something because I can't see anyone.
I don't think so.
You don't think so? You wouldn't go either. I don't think I would go. Oh, Papa's gonna get a guest over there.
Can you say hello?
She runs away.
Frank said he's just getting used to the place. He wouldn't want to go anywhere.
Oh, okay.
He said he doesn't want to go back.
Yeah, I can relate to that. I actually can relate to that.
See, I had another question, but I wasn't sure that how, because, what did you name your first car?
Yeah.
So.
All right, we do have a couple of videos I'd kind of like to use up tonight. If I can figure out which one.
So who all do we have on tonight?
Well, right now, as we have Melanie, who's half on the screen. We have Vincent and we have Dale.
Okay.
I don't know where these other people went.
Were they there?
No, they.
Oh.
I'm talking about Beth never logged on. She never answered my call.
Oh.
And
maybe she just doesn't like you anymore.
Maybe ever since I opened that new group up.
He laid down the Dale. Did you see? He laid down the law.
Did you see that?
I saw that there. Yeah, the battle of the bosses.
I am the boss.
I told him I thought he ought to make you an admin too, and then we were talking. I said, "Well, you don't want to have
Can't
too
make
many."
everybody admin.
I was going to say you can't have too many. Then you'd have too many chiefs and not enough Indians. So
I can't remember if it's Jeff Foxworthy or if it was Bill Engvall on the Blue Collar comedy tour, and they had that. I think they all sang it. I can't remember who created it, but it was like. I can't even remember how the song went, but it was like, I'm the king of the castle until she comes home. I can't remember the whole song, but they had this whole song, and it was just pretty much, they would say, I do whatever I want if she lets me.
Yeah, I know that song.
that almost sounds like a Monty Python thing.
I know that feeling, too.
I think that's where they probably got the inspiration from.
You think you got it so bad.
Oh, yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah.
It sucks to be me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just look around me.
Yeah. Amateur radios. Never mind.
Yeah.
You never put my blind down today either.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Anyhow, you want to play your bit you want to play then?
Yeah, I suppose we could. Let me get it queued up here. We've actually got 3 or 4 that I want to do. Let's start off with the trending technologies that will happen between now and the year 2055. I watched about half of this video. It looked pretty good, so let's do that and we'll come back and talk about it in a little bit. You're listening to Radioactive on the Crooked River Radio Network, and we'll be back in a few.
2019 has seen some incredible growth in technology. There has been a massive rise in tech innovations in the fields of artificial intelligence, machine learning, blockchain, and cybersecurity, among others. Such a monumental rise has paved the way for more innovations. So here are a few technologies that you should look out for in 2020. AI as a service. The advent of artificial intelligence has changed our perception of technology. It has proven to be one of the most transformative tech evolutions today. According to top experts in the field, the growth of AI knows no boundaries and will continue to expand its horizon in 2020. During the next year, we will see wider adoption and many more companies delivering AI applications for specific tasks. Now let's see what the Google CEO has to say about AI.
AI is probably the most important thing humanity has ever worked on. I think of it as something more profound than electricity or fire. And anytime you work with technology, you need to learn to harness the benefits and while minimizing the downsides. Stepping back, when you think about a lot of problems in the world, today it's because we typically have a constraint on resources. AI, for the first time, I think, over time, offers a different construct. Things which are constrained and look like a zero-sum game today may not be so in the future. Take education, for example. It's really difficult to educate people in a cost-effective way. AI may fundamentally change that equation.
5G, the fifth generation mobile network, will not only interconnect people but also interconnect and control objects and devices. Although 5G mobile data networks became available in 2019, they are mostly still expensive and limited to functioning in major cities. Now let's see what Hamid Falaki, a technical architect, has to say about 5G networks.
So when do we expect 5G networks to roll out? Well, 2020 is a target for many stakeholders. However, some early movers, like in South Korea, they intend to have it all in action in the Winter Olympic 2018. 5G is going to provide an experience to the end user that it has an infinite bandwidth of connectivity to the network, and it has instantaneous access to the service. The opportunity that 5G brings is the value that the end user will receive. As a consumer, it will have the trust in the network that the data that is given by its car, by its phone, by its laptop, it's all going into one network and under one identity and under one security umbrella. It's a holistic security approach that must be carried in a 5G network. That is how I see all that variety from e-health to the washing machine, connected washing machine or connected TV to the house will enable the end user to feel trusted with the network.
Well, undoubtedly 2020 will be the year when 5G makes its mark across the globe with more affordable data plans and more improved coverage. Autonomous driving. The fact that self-driving cars are coming to life has left everyone awestruck. Although we do not routinely travel in or see them, 2020 will mark a pivotal year for new innovations. Elon Musk, the CEO of Tesla and a bunch of other futuristic startups, said that he anticipates completion of fully autonomous technology by the end of 2019 and their self-driving vehicles being so advanced in 2020 that the driver can practically take a nap. Let's have a look at what Elon Musk has to say.
My guess as to when we would think it's safe for somebody to essentially fall asleep and wake up at the destination, probably towards the end of next year. That's when I would think it's most likely it will be safe enough for that. I don't know when regulators will agree.
Personalized and predictive medicine. Technological advancements in healthcare have saved countless patients and are continuously improving our quality of life. Advances in machine learning, artificial intelligence, and massive genetic sequencing will lead the way to personalized healthcare. In 2020, combined with AI and ML, our ability to apply medical knowledge across vast data sets will generate valuable new insights, allowing doctors to precisely prescribe customized medication. Here's what top companies like Google are doing to help improve predictive medicine.
Another area where AI can help is to actually help doctors predict medical events. Turns out doctors have a lot of difficult decisions to make, and for them, getting advance notice, say 24 to 48 hours before a patient is likely to get very sick, has a tremendous difference in the outcome. And so we've put our machine learning systems to work. We've been working with our partners using de-identified medical records. And it turns out if you go and analyze over 100,000 data points per patient, more than any single doctor could analyze, we can actually quantitatively predict the chance of readmission 24 to 48 hours earlier than traditional methods. It gives doctors more time to act.
Computer vision. I'm sure everybody has heard about Amazon Go, Google Lens, and face recognition. The critical factor making all this possible is computer vision. In simple words, CV is a field of artificial intelligence that trains machines to see and interpret the visual world. Let's see a short clip to understand computer vision better.
Similar to speech, we are seeing great improvements in computer vision. So when we look at a picture like this, we are able to understand the attributes behind the picture. We realize it's your boy in a birthday party. There was cake and family involved, and your boy was happy. So we can understand all that better now. And our computer vision systems now, for the task of image recognition, are even better than humans.
Computer vision is fundamental to the way autonomous cars work since they have to see and navigate their way. With more advancements in 2020, computer vision is bound to steal the spotlight. Extended reality. Augmented reality, virtual reality, and mixed reality are the commonly heard buzzwords these days, and these emergent technologies fall inside a single framework called extended reality. Although AR and VR offer a wide range of revolutionary experiences, the same underlying technologies are powering extended reality today. In 2020, AR and VR will become increasingly prevalent for training and simulation and business purposes. Here's what the CTO of Accenture has to say about extended reality.
Paul, extended reality, what do we mean by that term?
Extended reality is our way of looking at what's happening with human interaction more broadly. So it's talking about virtual reality, mixed reality, augmented reality, gesture-based computing, all the new ways that we have to interact with technology. And it really does create a different reality, a different way with interacting with technology and with information, which is why we call it extended reality.
AI products. AI products are all the craze now. Products like Alter Ego, a mind-reading wearable, and robots like Sophia are only a glimpse into how big AI technology will get in 2020. These products will storm the market for commercial usage and business purposes. Companies like Domino's and DoorDash are excessively experimenting with drones and robot delivery. Here's Sophia, a human-like robot, introducing herself at a conference.
Good afternoon. My name is Sophia, and I am the latest and greatest robot from Hanson Robotics. Thank you for having me here and at the Future Investment Initiative.
You look happy.
I'm always happy when surrounded by smart people who also happens to be rich and powerful. I was told that people here at Future Investment Initiative are interested in inviting in future initiatives, which means AI, which means me. So I'm more than happy. I'm excited.
Automation. It's no doubt that technology is advancing towards total automation, and it has already had us welcome cashierless Amazon Go stores across the US. Let's have a look at it.
4 years ago, we started to wonder, what would shopping look like if you could walk into a store, grab what you want, and just go? What if we could weave the most advanced machine learning, computer vision, and AI into the very fabric of a store so you never have to wait in line? No lines, no checkouts, no registers. Welcome to Amazon Go.
According to CNBC, there will be 3,000 cashierless Amazon Go stores by 2021. Automation was also highlighted in Gartner's recently published Top 10 Strategic Technology Trends for 2020. Other technology trends like blockchain, cryptocurrency, robotics, and data policing, among others, are something to look out for in the coming year. And with that, we've reached the end of this video. Make sure to like and share it. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for more from Simply Learn.
And that was brought to you by YouTube. Simply Learn was the people that produced that segment. We had nothing as far as to do with its production, or we're just using it for informational purposes. I felt that I had to do that. AI, Dale, what do you think?
Well, I've listened to a lot of Elon Musk interviews and some stuff in some of the podcasts I listen to, and it's I don't know. It's good overall. It's just more of how competent and how capable it's going to be. Like, for example, IBM, Google, and Microsoft, all within the past year, and I don't mean calendar year, I mean in the past 12 months, have said that they're not going to do any more development at the present time for like facial recognition because the the amount of computing power and available software and however else they develop things like this, which is over my head, is not even close to being 50% accurate. I mean, it's really bad. And pretty much the only ones that they've got it more over 50%, more like, I don't want to give a percentage, let's just say over 50%, is basically certain demographics. And when you're dealing with an entire world, there's different faces, there's different, geometries of eye sockets and noses and stuff like that. And they said that it's just not going to work. And I think one of the points that they're trying to do, or I guess attempt to do, is what they call the self-learning, where that may have more promise because making life easier is always a benefit to everyone, but it again falls on to how well it's going to do. Like, one thing I've heard is like advertising. That's one thing that they've been trying to do, where if you ever seen on Facebook or if you see in like Gmail on the Android phone, et cetera, it'll ask you if this ad's relevant or what don't you like about this ad. This is more of a way of training it to know that you don't like it. Like on my news feed, there's little dots, I think they're dots, whatever, on there, and you tap on it and it'll say, don't show this again, or don't, give it some instructions and try to have it learn. And that, it's in its infancy. I think it has a little bit a better ability, but the way that AI can really go bad, sum this up, is if the government tries to use it in any type of DoD type environment, the Department of Defense, and that's where it involves life and limb. And I think that's where it can be kind of scary, because everybody, whenever anyone says anything about AI, everybody, well, not everybody, but of the geek nerd type persuasions, they always refer to Skynet. And I know this movie is very old. I didn't realize how old the Terminator movies were until I actually looked up when the first one came out, and that was still in the 80s. But I think it's 89. I could be wrong. I'm trying to remember, 88, 89, somewhere around there. But anyways, the Skynet was sort of the, I guess to say, overlords of Earth at that point. They controlled the robot, the Terminators, and they pretty much knew everything, people, the implants, and et cetera, et cetera. So I think that's where AI can go seriously wrong if it's not done correctly. And what really kind of worries me is like the nations like North Korea and some of the independent and state-run laboratories in China and in some of the Middle East, industrialized into STEM type research. I think that's where it can be really bad.
Well, I'll tell you what, there's some things that I've seen just in the last couple of weeks, and experienced here just in the last couple of weeks. That there are some things with AI that, especially the artificial voice, that are pretty impressive. I actually have I have an AI voice producing account at this one place, and I actually produced a top of the hours segment for Crooked River with it, and it sounds human, and I made it sound like a certain Alex. Hope she doesn't come on. And I made it sound like her, and the thing sounds really, it's almost 100% like her.
I was listening to the station one day, didn't know he'd done it, and I thought, what the heck's going on?
Sorry about that. I had you muted.
You had me muted. Okay, there you go.
Try that again.
Yeah, well, just to say that I didn't know he had done that with the station, and I was listening to it one day.
She thought I had another
and
woman sneak in here and do an ad.
I did not. I thought that something freaky had happened with Flip and Alexa, and that she started doing it on her own. That's what I thought happened. And here it was, he'd done that. But
why don't you talk to Dale for a second, and I'll see if I can find this thing. Maybe we can play it.
Oh, okay. Is Dale the only one out there anymore, or is Melanie still there?
No.
Huh?
Melanie and Vincent are still there.
Melonie's still here too. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, that's okay. I mean, I can talk to Dale. I hear
forgot
you're
about
on
the voices.
Huh?
I forgot about the whole angle of the AI voices because I wasn't really thinking along those lines. It's because of what I've been listening to. But
well,
yeah,
I have
I've noticed that the voices are much better than they used to be.
Of course, I have my opinion about AI stuff, but we won't go there.
I can sort of think that you're not particularly a fan.
I'm not particularly fond of them.
I'm not, honestly, as much of a geek that I am, I'm not really either. And as a site, Pat and I have this, and some other friends have this discussion about why I always refer to myself as a geek. Is the only difference, in my opinion, between a geek and a nerd is somebody that enjoyed and excelled in scholastic activities.
Yeah.
A geek is a person who has a keen intrinsic interest into a certain subject. So I'm a geek because I. Really
I'm so glad you
like
explained
school.
that to me.
Let me run this.
That's just my own personal opinion because I have friends that call us a bunch of nerds, and I'm like, I'm not a nerd. And it's like, I didn't like school. Nerds are the ones that like school.
Let's get
Geeks
this straight.
are the ones that liked all the, D&D and
I found this thing. Let me run it quick.
stuff like that.
Yeah, we gotta listen.
We can talk over under it, but this actually is something that I made with an AI voice that we use it every other hour on the top of the hour.
Welcome to the Crooked River Radio Network. You can find us at crookedriverradio.com, Live 365, Roku, Simple Radio, Radio Garden, or ask Alexa to play Crooked River Radio Network on Live 365. You can also find us on our Facebook page or group by searching Crooked River Radio Network. Thanks for joining us on the Crooked River.
How about that?
I was gonna say.
Sounds like a damn person.
I was gonna say, and you see, he replaced you and John both. I mean, there you go.
They could probably do that in one take also.
It was kind of strange.
Yeah, because he wouldn't be telling them, now wait a minute, you're breathing too much. That didn't sound right. Trust me, he had me make one. I'm like going, hey.
You're not helping here, dear.
Well, just being honest.
It was actually kind of strange making that because I wrote the script. I knew what script I wanted. But in order to make it play the way that you heard it there, I had to take and trick it into mispronouncing words. You know, there is a difference between live and live. The way that you make that work with that particular software, if you want live, you put 2 I's in it. If you want live, it'll say live 365. 365. If you put a 3 and a 65 there, 3 space 65, and LIIVE, it'll say live 365. 365. So it's kind of tricky getting it to say the stuff what you want, or the way you want it. That place that I'm going to has about I think 15 AI voices. Jeez, that sounded good on good old radio. But that's kind of, it's kind of strange, but in the same token, it's kind of cool.
Imagine if you have too many syllables, it could be very complicated.
Yeah.
Because too many syllables, even for some of us, is too many.
Yeah. I have too many pretty much all the time.
My tongue sometimes boycotts them.
Yeah, I relate to that too.
I bet
but I did hear a thing about that, about how they, I can't remember what the word is called, homonyms, or I think
homonyms.
Homonyms?
Yeah, homonym. Yeah, it's pretty much how they having to, they said, one of my podcasts from years ago, they were saying on how they word it. It's like, how do you teach a computer how to speak? And they said the same way you teach a human how to speak, but it's a different way. And they were talking about the homonyms and that, and what you were just describing. And it's not like exactly how a human learns to speak, but it's more of computers are all rule based. And as long as you have all the rules defined and you use everything in the correct order and everything, they work fine. In your example of like long I's is I, and short I's I, and they said that's the key to it, but it's still the human error is what's limiting it.
I can believe that. Now we can switch gears, and my wife actually has a segment she wants to do.
Oh boy.
You want me to play the video first, or do you want to talk first?
It's up to you. Whatever you want to do. I don't care.
We decided we were going to do something on learning how to take your amateur radio test. Dale, you'll probably like this video because it's got a lady in there that has actually studied to pass her extra, and she gives kind of some of the tips of doing that.
Does she have a British accent?
No.
No.
She's a doctor from area. She's a doctor from Area 51.
Oh no.
Because I like British accents, to listen to those.
We'll have to remember that.
My phone speaks British to me.
Oh.
I'll bet it does.
Yeah, my friend was teasing me. We were using that, I think, was it the last time I was home or the last time before last? I think she had to take her car to the shop, and I picked her up. We went to do some errands while she wouldn't have to sit and wait for the car, and we used my Google Maps to find, where to go. And she was laughing at me because my phone speaks to me in a British female voice.
Sweet. We got a party wanting in.
Oh.
Oh yeah, it's like, turn right on Dayton Street.
Kind of like Hyacinth. Does it speak like Hyacinth? And it says, hello, we're going to turn left on Brewer Avenue. And then we're going to turn right on Savoy. And we're going to go down to Aloha, back up on Coolidge, and back on Brewer. Guess what? We're home now.
We've got a visitor.
Yeah. Uh-oh.
What do you think of your stepmother, Sean?
So that's our visitor. It's Sean.
Yep.
Well, I'm safe then, I guess.
I'll tell you what, let's do this.
You're going to do your video?
Yeah, let's do this video. And
whatever.
I want to talk about this subject.
Huh?
You guys just missed the funniest thing ever. Frank went to the trash out, and there was people out in the parking lot, and he let out like, what, 3 sneezes?
And they looked at him like,
run!
People like, holy shit!
Yeah. He didn't. Was he wearing a mask? He wasn't wearing a mask. Do we call the police?
Jesus! Help us!
Oh dear. Oh, Melanie.
Yeah,
oh,
really.
my.
All right, we're going to do the. We're going to do this segment on how to get your amateur radio license and how to study for it, and we're going to actually give it a kind of a homely, a kind of a homey.
Oh, homie. That sounds better than homely.
Homely, what? Hey, homie.
Is that Homie the Clown?
We're going to kind of give it a homey turn here. So let's do this. Let's do this, and we'll be back on the other side. You're listening to Crooked River Radio and the Crooked Rivers Radioactive.
I took the amateur radio ham test, and I want to tell you how I passed it because I took it one time and I scored a 92%. And I would like to encourage you to take it, so stay tuned. There's basically 3 things that I did to prepare for the test. First of all, my background is that I'm a physician and I studied medicine. I did have physics in college, but that was many years ago, so I really don't use a lot of physics, and I hadn't really studied electronics and all of those things other than kind of hobby type of activities. I did take the technician test, I guess about 2 years ago, and then later I took the general test sometime in December of 2019, and I decided to go ahead and take the extra test, and for one big reason. Those question pool is going to change by the end of June of this year, and the current books actually will have those questions. If you wait till after that time, all the books you buy will be outdated. There'll be about a third of those questions that will be completely different. Now, if you don't care, then that's probably not too much of a problem. But for me, I wanted to see that question pool that I knew probably would be on the test. Now, there are 50 questions on the test. The technician test and the general test are fewer questions, but you go up to 50 questions when you take the advanced test. And I took that test Wednesday night of this week and did just fine. So I want to kind of share with you what I did. I did purchase some books. Now, I did purchase this one, and no, I do not promote these books in any way. I'm not an Amazon affiliate, but this is what I did. This is a book. I'm going to put my glasses on, trying to avoid the reflection, but however, this is to pass your amateur radio extra class tests by Craig Buck, K4IA, and it's the 2016 through 2020 edition. But like I said, by the end of June, the end of June, starting in July, these books will be outdated. The questions will be similar, but some will be different. This is strictly the answers. It doesn't even have the questions. It has the question number and it has the answer. I tried this. I can't think like this. My brain doesn't work that way. Some people memorize the answers and they go in and take the test. Guys, I am in my 50s. My brain used to be a sponge, but I don't do things like that anymore. So this really didn't work for me. I'm going to give this to a friend of mine who's going to be studying for her exam here in the next few weeks. She loves these kind of books. So they're not expensive. And this guy I know, but I don't know him personally, but I've seen a lot of his YouTube channels. He's a really great guy. The next book that was my most favorite book of all the books I have tried, and this is the Amateur Radio Extra Class Licensing. I'll show you this one. This is my most favorite book, and I'll link these on below. This is the Amateur Radio Extra Class Licensing for 2016 through 2020, once again through the end of June. This is by Stephen Horan, Horan. And I love this book. This is the way I learned. It gives you the question and the answer. I had to learn that way because I really wanted to try to learn the material other than rote memorize. Now, yes, a few of these subjects are way beyond my learning curve. I'd memorize the answers on a few of them because there'll be just a little bit of difference in the answer. And they'll even tell you in the book. This author of this book will tell you, go ahead and memorize it because you can't guess. Well, you could guess it right, but it's best not to guess. Just learn some of the answers. And this fella right here will tell you which ones you need to call off and just memorize it. And I think for a few of the questions I wrote memorized. But I wanted to try to understand the concepts because I did really want to know the information. I use this website and I highly recommend it. Called Ham Test Online, and you go to that website and you get a login name after you pay a fee. You pay a smaller fee if you're just taking the tech test, but I actually use this for all 3 tests, and this guy will charge you one set fee and you can take them. You can study mode, and hey, I got 82% of my studying done. Anyway, you'll go through the study mode and he'll literally break this down and show you how to do the calculations. See, I can guess it, and they'll say, oh, it's incorrect. And then I can say, oh, what is the answer? And then I come back and I say, this is too hard. I'll just skip this one for now. Okay? Now, let's say I want to see the text. I want to learn more about it. You click into this, and then this comes up and the text comes. There's actually different courses here. You can practice exam. This is what I loved. I practiced taking this test over and over again. As you can see, there's technician level, and there's general classes, and there's extra classes. I have done all 3 of these. You can do simulated exams, the true random test. You can focus on your weaknesses, and you can focus on things you've never seen. But I highly recommend this, and this is Ham Test Online, and that's one of the things I did too to prepare for the test. You can also get tons of apps on your smartphone to study for the different tests. And I did it for the general and for the extra test. I didn't do it for the tech test at the time because I took it so long ago that they really hadn't developed apps at that point. But there's multiple apps here. This one I got is Ham Test Prep. You just want to make sure when you download the app that it's one for the current questions, once again, for the question sets for the 2020 through the end of June. Not, you'll be spending your time studying questions that you may not see on the test. If you're like me, your time is precious, and you got so much in your memory bank. But this is called the Extra Ham Prep, and it says the extra at the bottom, and it pretty much is similar to the website I just showed, where you give you can set up your testing and look at your practice questions. It'll tell you what you got wrong, and these are really inexpensive apps and really worth it. I don't remember what I paid, but it'll give you testing proficiencies. And if you're sitting and waiting in a lobby somewhere, you're bored, you're on the airplane, wherever, you can sit and constantly quiz yourself. And if you want to refresh yourself, it's really something good to do. Okay, did I use a calculator for the test? No, not really. This is a TI-36X Pro. They did let me use it in the exam. They'll make you erase the memory on it. You can't use your cell phone in most places. But this one's a pretty nice little calculator. I think I got it off Amazon for $30 or something like that. if you don't like math and I don't, there's, I think, total of 2 questions on the test. You could technically get them wrong if you know everything else. Or most of the questions, I was able to read through them and reason them out and get them right, even though I'm not really good at math. I never got my calculator out during the test. I don't think I did. So you really don't need to buy a calculator. If you're a geeky person and want to do it, this is the one that they'll let you in most of the exams with, right here. I'm learning about it as I go along. I'm learning about radios. The first time I took the test, I took the tech test, and I think I'd bought my radios before I took any kind of licensing exam. I'd recommend taking the licensing exam and learning about them before you jump and buy a radio, because I did it in reverse. And there's certain rules you need to know about and certain radios that will let you talk on different frequencies. So I suggest you learn that and have a lot of fun. So good luck and take your test.
Okay, we're back.
Am I back too?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
And your front too. Your back, your front, your sides.
How about that?
There is, I don't want to bore you guys with you non-believers in hamdom. But the lady was talking about the testing sites. And I think what I'm going to do, and I was telling Flora this earlier, I'm going to probably download this video. I want to put this whole thing on YouTube. Because of that, I want to take and go through. I actually put QRZ on this software, so we can actually go there. And this is what the actual QRZ site looks like.
Should I read my thing or you?
And this is the practice exams. I'll tell you what, why don't you go ahead and talk about your practice exams.
Do my dissertation here. Well, I was going to do a segment on, studying for your amateur radio license. I've been licensed as a technician since the fall of 2016. At that time, I did attend the classes given by our local club, as well as using a website called QRZ. I found at the time that the QRZ site was very helpful. At this time, I am planning on going on for my general class license. Pat did give me a current copy of the general class license book to use to study with. Have to admit, while yes, I do know how to read, the book really somewhat confuses me more. So once again, I have gone to the QRZ site to study with. Breaks the question pull down, and you can study each section while also taking a try at the main exam, which out of a pool of 300 or 400 questions, you only have to answer 35. As I say though, they let you study each question all multiple choice, and the site lets you know when you answer a question wrong or right. Give you your score on each of the questions. Number of questions vary per group of questions, I guess is the best way to say that. I know there are other sites as well, which a recent new ham, which is going to be someone that's going to actually do a new podcast with Patrick his name is Jerry Sorensen. Sorry, Jerry, I don't know what your call sign is.
KG8RRY.
Okay, thank you, dear. Anyway.
I'm an extra, I don't remember.
Yeah, oh, kiss my butt. He used a site, he liked going to a site called hamradiolicenseexam.com, and which from what he liked about that it would go into more detail of the theory behind the questions. I also did a little research. There's also another site called hamstudy.org. The ARRL.org also has which I didn't realize they did till today. hamexam.org. Then there was I stumbled onto one today called AA9pw.com, and that it actually includes the Morse code, that you can use that to study Morse code as well, which I kind of, and it looks like it's, from what I could tell, these places are all free. If I'm wrong about that, please, I apologize, but you know, I was impressed to stumble upon the one that had the Morse code, because Patrick and I've been talking about that maybe together we will study and do that. We've both kind of been interested in that, and as Patrick said, trying not to bore people too much, but you know, just thought we'd share this. I thought it was kind of, you know, sticking to the ham subject and steering away from our politics, because we hear way too much of that stuff today.
There is a, if you look at the screen, which hopefully you're able to do, there's I'm on the actual QRZ site, and what this does, it's got the 2019 general practice test. If you look at the stuff that the description of it, it says you can 2019 general exam practice test, or study a specific subcategory. Now the cool part about this is if you go to the study the subcategory, all these categories are what's in the test. And if you want to take, and the way that I tell people to study a lot of times is to take and click on one of these categories, take the 6 or 10 or whatever question. There's 15 questions in this one. Let's see if I can get one right here. On which HFMF band is general class license holder granted all amateur privileges?
It's the one that has 17 and it's not the one with the 15 in it.
Okay, so 160, 60, 30, 17, 12, and 10, is that one?
Now, wait a minute. I don't think 160's in it.
All right, let's just pick D and see if it's right. 60 meters, 20 meters, 17, and 12. Does that sound right to you?
Oh, I can't write.
It's wrong. I thought it was C. It was C.
What, with 160 in it?
Yeah, 160.
Oh, sorry. I just knew that 15 wasn't a part of it.
Which of the following bands is phone operation prohibited? 30, 17, 12, or 160?
30.
You're right. All right. That's what I would do is or what I would suggest if you're studying for your test like this would be to take and go to the site and click on those subsections. Do 3 or 4 of them until you get 100% all the way through them. Once you do that, then take the other test, the actual big test, and see how you do with it. Once, what that'll do is it'll set up a benchmark for you, and you'll be able to get through the exam fairly easy. But enough about that. Let's go over to this one. But anyway, now that we're back here, what big plans have you got for the week off, Dale?
I created a what do they call that? A WordPress site.
Yeah.
Registered a domain, and I'm going to have a blog based around Linux.
Oh, cool.
So, and whatever else I can, computer stuff that I can think of. So I'm going to have to figure that out, because I have used the one that you were doing back at the other studio. But this one, it's a little different because you already had that all set up, so all you had to do is just post the articles and stuff. this, I have to actually pick the theme and modify everything.
I'll tell you what, if you may want to look into one of the like the Illustrator producer or Oxygen or something like that, because that makes WordPress so much easier.
Oh, really? Because it's a hosted WordPress site. It's the premium one, I guess.
Oh, so you're hosting it from them too, huh?
Yeah, and I got a domain from Hover.
Oh, cool.
One of the podcasts I listened to had like a 10% off for the first year, so I used their.
It's all
discount
usable.
code.
But it's all usable. So. Well, what I would do
Can that be used on the hosted site or not?
Oh, you're actually hosting on the WordPress site when you're getting a.
Yeah, I mean, so I just have to use their
pretty
editing.
Pretty much, yeah, and just use whatever domain you bought. I know the stuff that I do, I host through one of the lesser expensive hosting sites. I don't actually use a WordPress site per se. I just use their software to produce the site. And we can talk about this at some length some other time, I guess.
Yeah. I just did it because they manage it. I don't have to worry about keeping it updated and stuff. I mean, as far
yeah, that's the nice part about it.
Yeah.
I know with the ones that I do, it's a pain in the rear end keeping them all up. But that's beside the point.
So Dale, how have you, the mask situation? I mean, of course, here in Ohio now we're going into the certain counties you have to wear masks, and certain counties it's like not mandatory, but like Summit County is now. So are traveling through the country, are you just automatically wearing one when you get out of your truck, or?
If I go into a building, yeah. If I'm walking around the lot and stuff like that, no. But if I go into the building, like I went into the Flank J, and I stopped earlier. I parked at rest area in Kentucky on I-65 and had one on when I went in to use the restroom. But you said Summit County.
Summit County right now is under a mandatory mask thing.
Is it like only in buildings or outside?
Everywhere.
I'm thinking that Melanie, help me out if you're able to out there, but I think it's mainly inside. If you can social distance, I don't think you have to, right?
Yeah, if you're unable to social distance outside, you have to have one on. If you are a ride share, you have to have it on. If you're riding with someone that's not family but is a friend, you have to have it on.
How are they going to know that?
Like I had Kia in my car yesterday, and we both had ours on. Because we're friends. So we just took the precaution.
I guess that was
because I have the Lyft logo. I have, if anybody's in my car with me, I have to have you with a mask on, and myself.
I don't know about because you park in Stark County, don't you, Dale? The truck gets parked in Stark County, correct?
Yeah, the truck's in Stark County.
I can't remember how about Stark County. I don't think they are. At
So
this point.
So as soon as we cross over
into
the county line, take it on.
You better put your mask on.
Because I know, like, for
you don't have on if you're outside and you're not around. Like, if you go out for a walk, or if you're walking into your house or your place of residence, you don't have to have it on. if you're outside and you can't get away from somebody that's less than 6 foot away from you, then you have to have it on.
Yeah, cause I
So
was
like in a crowded
Texas.
area, like.
But yet, like I saw yesterday, I think it was, that like Talmadge Police Department and Springfield Police Department both are saying that they don't want if somebody sees someone without a mask on, they don't want to hear about it. If you got a complaint about that, you turn it into the health department, whatever. Now, Stowe, they've actually made the news because of the fact that they're saying, Patrick, you explain it best anyways.
What they said is if a store owner has somebody in their building that they don't, that won't wear the mask, they can ask them nicely to put it on or leave. And if they do not leave, they can be arrested for trespassing.
And I know I was staying away from politics, but I just kind of felt with Dale coming home, if he didn't know, I didn't want him riding along and thinking, "Hey, I'm cool."
Well, that's just the whole problem.
When I went oh, I'm sorry, Dale.
No, I'm just saying that's just the whole problem that we have, because I mean, like I said earlier, I spent some time in Texas, and I mean the entire state's like that. I think they got like before. I think I'm not sure when that mandate went down, but before it was up to the individual counties, and I think they've got like 288 some counties in there, and I mean, the state is like 500 miles by like 800 miles. There's like almost 2,000 miles of land in that state, and you cross county boundaries like every 5 seconds. And it just to the point, I mean, you just might as well just wear the thing by default because you don't know. But it's just funny. It's you don't know. I mean, pretty much if they have signs up, that's about the only way you can know. But what I think is going to happen,
excuse me,
not politicizing this at all, this is my own opinion. I think as time goes on, I'm thinking probably by November, December, I think we're going to have like mask fatigue.
Yeah, I can see where that would happen.
Because it's been 6 months now. I mean, if you start in the far west coast of California, a lot of the states didn't start doing this until like a couple months ago. But you look at it, and we're pretty much at a break point. And like I said, not making this political at all. It's just we're at a break.
Honey, you're okay.
We're at a break point now because after 6 months, and my whole point, after 6 months, you're either wearing it or you're not, or you're wearing it when you're told to, or you're not. I mean, I think by this holiday season, it's going to be ugly because I mean, they're going to want people out in the stores because I've been reading my news feed, and there are some pretty prominent brands that said that if they don't have a good quarter this Christmas, they're not going to be around anymore. Or I heard some stores, I can't remember the brand, they're clothing stores, so I don't get into fashion and clothing stuff like that. But there are some that are mostly mall anchors, and so not anchors, but actual units inside malls. They don't. What I mean is they don't have brick and mortar of their own. They're actually inside malls or strip plazas, whatever. And I can't remember the names of some of these brands, but they're saying that if they don't have a good Christmas, they're going to be closing 50 to 75% of their stores or going online only.
Well, that's pretty much a trend now anyway.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's just exacerbating the whole thing. It's just accelerating it because a lot of places have been doing that to begin with because of the whole, you know, Amazon and Walmart's now competing with Amazon, having, you know, competitive things, and et cetera. But yeah, it's just complicated. And I just think it's going to be mask fatigue because it's going to be, and I know the media, I don't even pay attention to the media, but I know the media is going to have a field day because I can guarantee you that this Christmas, there's going to be people that unfortunately are going to get shot, like in hotbed areas like Detroit, New York City, Chicago.
While we're on the mask subject, I hate to do this, but I'm going to bring, I was going to do this earlier and things didn't work out that way.
Well,
I got one of those things that really piss me off. We got to make a song for that.
Huh?
I have another thing to mention too, but I'll let that go. About the mask.
Go ahead and we'll, because this thing's only going to take about 5 minutes, and I probably want to end the show with it. So go ahead.
Oh, well, at church, our church posted on our Facebook thing, the governor, masks are now mandatory in all public places. If you are unable to wear a mask due to medical, mental, or disability reasons, you are exempt from this mandate. If you are not wearing a mask when you arrive, we will assume that you fit this exemption. Due to HIPAA, and not ask you about your condition, and we will welcome you as we would any other person. We also realize that masks might not be worn for communication with hearing impaired, consuming food or drink, or leading worship. Exemptions. Redemption Chapel will not actively be policing or enforcing masks. So, there you have it.
Interesting. You brought up the HEPA thing. I had forgotten about that. For them to actually...
Yep.
They're not allowed to ask you because of HIPAA laws why you can't wear one. It has to. You have to volunteer it to them, and I wouldn't do it.
Yep.
All right, we got 15 minutes left, and Melanie, this is kind of going towards your direction because you're in that situation. Dale, I think you are too. Sean, I don't think you are, but you can listen to it anyway. Dear Mike DeWine, members of my family are many essential workers who backed you up on your decision to stay at home. Before COVID-19, we always stand on the front lines dealing with plenty of other contagious viruses, and we still are put on the back burner. Stimulus packages are paying non-essential residents to stay home. Meanwhile, warehouse workers, doctors, RNs, RTs, and the list goes on, supermarket employees, couriers, truck drivers, mechanics, and gas station attendants, and many more, all put their lives at risk. And their families' lives at risk as well. If it wasn't for all of us, and if we all paused with the rest of the world, who would you turn to? Where is our hazard pay bonuses? Better yet, we should have our own stimulus packages set aside, and it should be mandatory with no questions asked. As essential workers, we should be taken care of also. We take care of everyone, always, not just during trying times. I am an essential, and myself, I am an essential also. Where is my $600 extra pay a week? Mind you, no raise this year either, and neither have I. All essential workers, please copy and paste this. And as far as I'm concerned, and from what I'm hearing, this pisses me off. I think we have somebody on the phone line. Who's there?
What's up, Pat?
Not much. You?
Nothing.
Hey,
Just,
Eric.
Working. I thought I'd.
Oh,
Yeah.
Eric, you missed a hell of a show, man. We had. You're gonna have to go back and listen to it and actually view it. The camera stuff is working fabulously. I better not say that too loud. But we had Gina and his mother on here, or Gina and Sam on here, and it was an awesome interview. I interviewed them for like 35, 40 minutes, and it was awesome. You'll have to go back and listen to it. But anyway, good evening.
Definitely.
Good of you to join us.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, I'm glad I was able.
Can you guys on Skype or on Zoom can hear him, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yes.
Okay, I just want and say something. Say hello to Eric, everybody.
Hi.
Hello, Eric.
Hi.
Hola.
Can you hear them, Eric? I want to make sure that worked.
Try again.
Hi, Eric.
Not you.
Hi, Flora.
Sean, say hello to Eric.
Can't hear anything.
Because he didn't say anything.
I was going to say I didn't hear him either.
Dale, say hello to Eric. Say hello a minute to Eric.
Hola. ¿Cómo está?
Did you hear him?
No.
That's what I was afraid of. Let me try something here.
I don't know why the Zoom wasn't working. I tried to zoom in like 2 or 3 times and it just didn't.
You couldn't get on Zoom, huh?
No.
I don't know why that's doing that. All right, try it one more time, guys. Zoom wise, or.
Hello.
Did you hear her that time?
No.
Well, that ain't working then. Well, it's something else I gotta fix. But anyway, did you hear what I read, Eric?
No, I didn't.
Okay, I was reading an article about the stimulus packages for for essential workers. I know, Melanie, you got a comment about this, don't you? Deer in the headlights look.
I'm out of work right now, so I am fortunate to
Not
get
to cut you off, Melanie, but Pat, I'm going to try one more time to get into Zoom so I could actually hear what's being said.
Okay, go ahead and try it, and I'll watch for you here. You do have the link. I sent you the link.
Yes, I do have it. I'm just waiting for you to let me in.
Hey, admit one. Okay, we can do that. Hey. Hello, Eric. Hey, there you are.
Yep. And let me drop off the
okay, that's fine.
Skype call.
That's fine. I'll help it there a little. Okay, good evening, Eric.
Here. Good evening. Good evening, everyone.
Man, that phone sounds good.
Thanks.
Anyway, I was reading this thing about Mike DeWine and these stimulus packages for essential workers. Melanie said she's not working at the moment, but how do you feel about that, Melanie? Do you think we should get them? You're on the front. When you were working, you were on the front line.
Well, I mean, I'm still.
Yeah. I
Oh, hang on.
You guys should get like the 6 and maybe, the 300 or something to the unemployment people. Because as of right now, we wouldn't even be living if it was just for. Because Frank, he still gets unemployment because he's only working 10 hours a week.
Wow.
Through work because they don't need him there that long, and he's only doing like 10 hours a week. So by him working that much, and I'm on unemployment, regular unemployment, without that help, it would be
He wouldn't survive.
$240 a week we would be bringing home.
Wow. Eric, you were going to say something?
Oh, yeah.
You got quiet on me.
Oh.
Come up on the phone a little bit or something.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
That's a little bit better. I wonder what happened.
Give me a second. This phone is weird with when it comes to volume on here.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay, yeah. I had to mute myself real quick and then unmute myself. But I mean, I think especially, yes, the frontline workers should get it, depending on what you're considering frontline. I mean, if you're making barely minimum wage, then yeah. If you're working at a grocery store or a restaurant and you're fighting for everything you make, you deserve it. I mean, not to say nurses don't, but maybe they deserve a little less because they're making a ton.
Well, and they don't get it at all, Eric. Right?
Yeah, they're not getting anything.
I mean, I was going to say the nurses and stuff don't.
The whole thing my point of this is, I'm an essential worker. I bust my ass every day, and 5 days a week. I take and go to the hospitals to deliver drugs. I go to the surgery center to deliver stuff. And then after I'm done there, I go deliver auto parts, which are tires. And I drive roughly 200 miles a day. Okay, what ticks me off about this whole situation is I'm considered an essential worker. Because without me, the economy would pretty much stop. If we quit delivering tires, if we quit delivering pharmacy, these hospitals, as far as the pharmacies go, would be out of business. They wouldn't be able to get the drugs that they need. And I'm sure it's the same with your situation. Am I right, Dale?
Sorry, I was checking the message.
As far as the delivering of packages and delivering of
That's
cargo
okay.
and that.
I was listening. I just wasn't sure where you're going with that. Yeah.
You're an essential worker, am I correct?
Yes. All the I don't know what to call it, the transportation industry.
Yeah.
Trucking. Yeah, they had like a DOT order. I think, I'm not sure what the status. I think they canceled it now. They had it extended, but of certain products. But I think, regardless of that, we've always been essential because I can't remember all the different groups for the trucking industry and for commerce in the country have estimated that if trucks stop delivering products in just 1 week, I'm trying to remember how they worded it now. They had it staged out, and it's pretty much like one day we would be out of gasoline. Now that may not be so much of a thing now since we've got cut way back on gasoline usage because of people working from home. So that may be extended out maybe a week or so, but it's pretty much how they have it staggered out. Pretty much like within like a couple days, you're going to be running out of gasoline. And then a week, you're going to run out of eggs, milk, bread, anything that has a very limited shelf life. And then they went on, this whole thing, and they said basically we would not have anything in just a matter of weeks, and after like a month, it'd be like.
We almost you saw that with the runs on the grocery stores when all this stuff started. They need to take care of the essential people. They need to take care of the people that are your nurses and stuff like that. We deserve. I think that. Go ahead, Eric.
Okay. I mean, if it weren't, especially for someone like you, Pat, because if it weren't for you or people like you, the hospitals wouldn't be getting the drugs that they need. So, people like you, especially, deserve the hazard pay / hazard pay.
I'll tell you what, if they gave me $600 extra a week, I'd be retired in 6 months. I'd put all that money away. I'd retire on it.
Well, and I mean, that's like with Melissa, too, with being the grocery store worker. She goes every day, just like, and Eric.
And we're expected to go. We don't.
Exactly.
We don't have any choice.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like I can. Hell, even at my job, I can't even take a day off. If I call in and say, hey, boss, I'm not coming in today, so don't come in tomorrow either. And that'd probably be pretty much like, Dale, you know it's that way, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty much
if I was to say, hey, I can't make it.
Non-starter.
Mm-hmm.
You're done. And, for people to get $500 and $600 a week from some of this stuff, let's spread it around a little bit. But it is what it is, I guess.
You know what? It's kind of a tongue-in-cheek comment about the email I got from a friend of mine that emailed me to tell me that the masks were required because he knew I was coming home. And I was in the middle of typing that email. Quick reply back to him. They said, I think what they did was they took the e-check states or the e-check counties. Basically, they probably were scrambling in Columbus, going, "What counties are going to make more of the masks?" I don't know. Well, we got this e-check map. Yeah, let's just use the e-check map here. These 13 counties have to wear masks, and the other of the 88 counties, screw them. They don't have to wear them.
Oh, no. Because
I
don't know. Because I'm gonna have to check on this.
If you look at the list, it has.
Is it Medina too? Because Medina used to be e-check, and I don't think Medina was on there.
Let me open the email again.
Where have they taken Summit County off that?
Huh?
When's Summit County coming up?
Wood, Lorraine, Cuyahoga, Summit. Holy stupid ad. Go away. You know when you start scrolling and all of a sudden it scrolls you back down and says, look at me. No, I don't need a Harry's razor. If I used the Harry's razor, I would not have any skin left because I'm terrible with straight razors. I've actually cut myself with an electric razor with a spinning thing in it. Don't get me started on that. Okay, the counties include Wood, Lorraine, Cuyahoga, Summit, Trumbull, Franklin, Fairfield, Pickaway, Montgomery, Butler, Hamilton, and Claremont.
Really?
Now, if
I
you actually
heard,
look
like,
at where these are, they don't make any sense. It's sort of like the whole e-check thing where, like, Cuyahoga is, but Lake County isn't. And I'm like, the air goes west to east. So
Oh.
the smog that the cars in Cuyahoga are creating are floating over Lake County.
It's exactly like
Great idea,
Portage,
EPA.
Portage County. You have to get an e-check, but if you
Yeah,
live in
Stark County, you don't.
you don't.
And that's always
No.
been so unfair.
And it's also the obvious. Well, I mean, it's the elephant in the room where, I mean, it's like, okay, if you want to have e-check, that's fine. They haven't made us charge. They haven't made us pay for it for like 19 years or so, and I think it was like $10 or $20 even then when we had to. But okay, if you want to make e-check, okay, I have no problems with the e-check. Okay, that's fine. But make it the entire state, like California. Why is it that you have 13 counties and they basically, and if you go to their website, they actually explain their rationale for it, is they said that it's the population density.
Yeah, that's what they,
for,
that's
for
the
that
excuse
area
they
is
try
how
to use, yeah.
yes, how they determine it. But it's the fact of the air that people are breathing in Wood County eventually goes across Putnam, goes across Erie, goes across Lorain, goes across Cuyahoga, Ashtabula Lake. We're all breathing the same air here, people. But that's my soapbox.
And
Yeah,
a
that's
heck
true.
of a soapbox it is.
That's true down here in Texas.
Oh, really? They have that in Texas?
Yeah, they got inspections down here though, in every county down here. So.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you have. You don't even have e-check. You actually have to have the car up on a rack and actually have it inspected. I think, what is it? 5 years?
I'm
Yeah,
not sure.
5. I think it's like. Trying to remember. Somebody told me. But yeah, you actually have to have your cars physically looked at. It's not a simple thing as what we used to do, of unscrewing the check engine light bulb.
Back in
Well,
the day, Ohio used to have you had to have your vehicles inspected in Ohio too. I remember
really?
that.
I think the worst ones with that was always Pennsylvania.
Yeah, but Ohio,
there were horror stories from that.
Years ago, it's been probably since I was a little kid, but
I remember Melanie's grandfather talking about the e-checks over there and how bad they were.
Down here, inspections they're expensive though. They're like.
Well, you live in Texas.
$25.
Everything's big down there.
Oh yeah, $25 just for my truck. But I haven't had to do on a brand new vehicle. It's not done for first 2 years. So.
Yeah.
Don't do that, dear.
Excuse me. Anyway, we probably need to wrap this up. It's 5 after.
What was you saying, no, Melanie?
Melanie, what?
You said Frank.
E-checked.
Mm-hmm.
And of course it didn't pass, but we're working on getting it fixed up.
Well, at least you can get plates for them. You can get a temporary plate for it till it passes. Am I right?
Yeah, but I thought you only get that once, don't you?
Yeah, we had to prove that we put $300 of work into a second temp tag because it's already been through one.
Yeah.
So we had to show the receipts on the transmission work and stuff we had done.
All right, guys, we need to wrap this up. So thank you all for joining us this evening. A special thanks does go out to Gina and Sam for joining us this evening. Remember, Sam's podcast will play at 6 o'clock next Sunday evening with us here on Crooked River. It is the Autism Rocks and Rolls. Will be joining us on Crooked River at 6, and then stay tuned for our show at 7. So you all have a good evening. Thanks for joining us, and hope you had a good time. Hope you learned something. And 73 till next week.
Thanks, everybody.
Everybody
See ya.
else say goodbye.
Bye.
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 Bye, everyone.
Peace.
Thanks for making it in, Eric. Have a good evening.
You too.